This court is now in session. Judge Oliver Wentworth presiding. First case, Mrs. Clyde Martin versus Dr. James Reardon. Charge, involuntary manslaughter.
Order in the court. Will the prosecuting attorney please take his case to the jury?
Thank you, Your Honor. Friends of this court and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, during the course of this trial, I will prove that Dr. James Reardon acted far beyond the authority vested in him as a physician and surgeon. For completely ignoring the ethics of the medical profession, he acted without permission of the patient or his nearest of kin, and in so doing, took the life of a fellow man unnecessarily. Furthermore, I will prove these accusations beyond a question of a doubt, and will demand you to find the defendant, Dr. James Reardon, guilty of the crime of involuntary manslaughter.
And then young Randy Marshall, the doctor's attorney, began his opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen.
For almost a solid hour, he argued, pleaded, and reasoned, but the jurors' faces remained cold and unimpressed.
So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I maintain that Dr. Reardon took the only possible course in performing this operation. It was the one chance that he had to save Clyde Martin's life. Unfortunately, it failed. Now I'd like to call Mr. Gene Autry to the stand.
Gene Autry will take the stand. Do you, Gene Autry, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Proceed, Mr. Marshall. Thank you, Your Honor. Go ahead, Gene.
Well, Judge, I guess what I really came up here to say is this. Everyone in our town loved Doc Reardon. That is, until 3 days ago when he tried to save Clyde Martin's life. Well, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe he should have stayed home that night and sent out bills. At least, that way, he'd never be sitting in this courtroom today charged with manslaughter. No, instead, his conscience would be charging him with the same thing. So he went. And when he got there, he did the best he could. Just as he's done around here for the past 35 years. You ought to know that, Tom. You, Tom Clayton. Remember 2 springs ago when you called the doc over to your house in the middle of the night?
I'm afraid you've got a very sick little girl there, Tom. Looks like diphtheria.
Oh, Doc, you gotta help her. You just got to.
I'll do all I can, Tom. Now suppose you get busy and boil some water.
Okay. And, Doc, if you save her, I'll never forget you.
Remember that, Tom? For 2 nights and 2 days, Doc Reardon didn't leave your little girl's bedside. And because of him, she lived. Then there was another time. You should remember this one, Mrs. Beavers. You called him when blood poisoning set in your husband's leg. I remember because I drove the doc out to your place in my buckboard.
Looks pretty bad, Mrs. Beavers. Sam may have to lose his leg.
Oh, no. Oh, doctor. Sam's got to be able to walk again. He's just got to be able to walk and work. Oh, can't you save it, doctor? If you do, we'll never forget you.
And the doc did save it. And Sam walks and works today, thanks to him. And do any of you remember another day? Doc Reardon Day, it was called. Everybody in town gathered in the square to pay tribute to him. Folks of every race, creed, and color.
So, we of Chippewa tribe give great thanks to our white friend, Doc Reardon. Him saved life of many Indians because him understand our people. We never forget him.
Sure, you all remember those things about Doc Reardon. You remember how he let you pay him potatoes, eggs, or in some cases, just never pay him at all. You remember all that, but now you condemn him for trying to save a man's life. Why, he saved the life of someone near and dear to almost everyone in this courtroom. But most of you seem to have forgotten.
Order! Order in the court. Mr. Autry, I'm certain that all that you've just said about Dr. Reardon is true. The fact remains, however, that it is possible that he is liable in this instance, no matter what great things he has done before.
In that case, Your Honor, if I may, with permission of both you and Mr. Marshall, I'd like to call on one more witness, Dr. Randolph Bellamy of the State Medical Board.
Will Dr. Randolph Bellamy take the stand? Dr. Bellamy, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead, Doc.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, last night at 11 p.m., I performed an autopsy on the body of Clyde Martin.
Order! Order in the court. Proceed, Doctor.
Yes, Your Honor. After examining the tumor on Mr. Martin's brain, I found that it was of a fatal nature. Dr. Reardon ceased operating when the patient died. But had he gone further, he would have discovered that the tumor had grown to such an extent that, regardless of what he'd done, the patient would have succumbed within 24 hours.
Well, Johnny, after that, the judge gave his closing remarks and dismissed the jury. And for the next 45 minutes, not a soul in the entire courtroom made a move to leave their seats. And no one spoke. They all seemed to be waiting for just one thing, the jury room door to open. Seconds ticked on like years, and then finally...
This court is in session again. The case of Mrs. Clyde Martin versus Dr. James Reardon. The charge, involuntary manslaughter.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
And so, Johnny, Dr. James Reardon went back to being just a plain country doctor. Funny thing, actually all those folks needed was a little memory jogging. You know a country doctor's life isn't an easy one. They work day and night, often without adequate equipment. Drive many a mile over rough roads and wildernesses to help those who need them. And asking, for the most part, nothing in return. So I, for one, propose a toast to the country doctor. May he find reward and satisfaction in the faces of those he cares for, and contentment in the life he gives to so many. Folks, the name of this next song is The Rim of the Canyon. It also happens to be the name of a motion picture, which might just happen to be playing at your neighborhood theater. In which case, if you might just happen to go, you might just happen to hear this song being sung by someone who just happens to sound like me. Oh, well, here it is. By reaching on high, touch a star in the sky from the rim of the canyon. Low, I can see far below, where the cool waters flow from the rim of the canyon. night, and the days in flight. What a glorious sight. From the rim of the canyon, from the rim of the canyon, from the rim of the canyon. Well, friends, it's goodbye for another Melody Ranch party. But remember, the Lead String will be out again next week at this same time and over these same stations. Meanwhile, anytime you want a real chewing treat and a real taste treat, enjoy healthful, refreshing double mint gum. I always keep a package handy in my pocket where I can reach it anytime I want. I'm suggesting, and you do the same. Keep a package of delicious double mint handy all the time. And now, folks, this is Gene Autry asking you to keep thinking of us until we're back in the saddle again. Out where a friend is a friend, where the longhorn cattle feed on the lowly gentry. I'm back in the saddle again, riding the range once more, toting my old 44, where you sleep out every night, and the only law is right, back in the saddle again. Be sure to join us again next week at the same time and over these same stations when the Wrigley people will again present Gene Autry, who may soon be seen in the Columbia picture Riders in the Sky, and who, beginning Thursday, September 29th, will be appearing in person with his big championship rodeo at Madison Square Garden, New York City. This is Charlie Lyon. This program is transcribed. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You have been listening to the Old Time Radio Hour, broadcast each week over the World Wide Web. You can subscribe at no charge through Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or RSS. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you can join us again next week for another hour of entertainment from the golden age of radio. Until then, this is your host, Justine Ward, saying, so long for now.